On May 23, 1993, wax, or the discovery of television among the bees, entered the internet, projected by a cable into a wall. Inside that internet, there are no movies there. And so wax, waiting until the last frame enters the wall, then begins the first movie on the internet, to continue forever, for that is how the first movie on the internet begins, at the first frame after the last frame. A true story, and this is that movie, and in reverse. And so, we begin.
As you are aware, the internet is a DVD on a coffee cup. I could show you how that happens, how the handle of the coffee cup becomes the hole in the center of the DVD. How the interior of the coffee cup disappears into the surface of a flat disc as I spin. I am the first movie on the internet. I am inside a DVD on a coffee cup. I could show you how that happens. How the movie appears between two frames, between the front and the back of the DVD disc. I am the first frame after the last frame. I am the movie in the DVD on the coffee cup. I am wax, or the discovery of television among the bees. I am 999 years, 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 48 seconds long. And then it was dark, until dawn.
Spinning discs scanned mourners left behind by the dead, changing their pictures to sounds which were transmitted through telephone wires. Spinning discs scanned mourners left behind by the dead, changing their pictures to sounds which were transmitted through telephone wires. Spinning discs scanned mourners left behind by the dead, changing their pictures to sounds which were transmitted through telephone wires. Spinning discs scanned mourners left behind by the dead, changing their pictures to sounds which were transmitted through telephone wires.
A strange machine twirling with power. Wing winging wee 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 are the self-satisfied noises it makes. Ting 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 gring gring grind. Don't get too close. The edges of the utensil whirl are sharp. An early German cathode tube design. The owner of this tube could float free and alive in the air, without wings, and see through metal cabinets to read the secret papers stacked in coherent layers inside. However, once this skill became common and available to all, it lost a lot of its cash. Now, flying people with X-ray eyes are considered a bit boorish. A German waveform, also studied by Ella. She developed techniques which allowed her to grab the waveform in her hands and turn it over and over, looking for imperfections or coherent segments that betrayed its artifact nature and thus its ultimate origin and meaning. Not that she was really interested in the cultural significance of the object. She really just wanted to perfect her analysis techniques, which would help her in building her own unnameable machine and waveforms. A tube object. High-frequency technique is just around the corner and will lead directly to tube television and radar. The waveform of the dead, a strange sound, rather than pretty music, an indeed image of someone's thought. A little light bulb with a spiral within it, the object of great interest to Ella during her investigations. Memorized. That German waveform can help us detect those corkscrewing dead who travel in all directions, forever as radio waves, using for bodies the invisible translations of sounds spoken somewhere else, and now everywhere at once. An issue much discussed by Ella and her brother at one time. In this manner the dead wait, like thoughts that need time to collect, above the heads of the sturdy mourners serviced by the photographer Ella. Many of the dead are quite attractive. The light bulbs, who may or may not think, are, according to some accounts, an important part of the machine made by Ella, and so must appear and reappear several times, blinking across time.
The receiver changed the sound to moving pictures of the dead, which could float free and alive in the air. The receiver changed the sound to moving pictures of the dead, which could float free and alive in the air. The receiver changed the sound to moving pictures of the dead, which could float free and alive in the air. The receiver changed the sound to moving pictures of the dead, which could float free and alive in the air.
Another sad woman, another ghost. Focus and empathy behind your brow, arch your eyebrows, and beam some good thoughts to this woman, or her ghost, or the ghost floating above. This is something you can easily do if you have the will, and it is something that eyes are good for. Coughing laughter echoes weakly through the room. Look close, and through the glass of this bulb, the filament, a secret tungsten alloy, has twisted in a rictus grin, and is vibrating with spirit laughter. A little joke set up by ghosts who like you, but think it would be better for you if you got a little scare once in a while. Not to worry. Many people, and many dead, shown one by one in a sequence of photos. The woman in this photo can't see the ghost over her head. Using mirrors in a situation like this doesn't work. Morn viewing is not ordinarily a real-time process, but actually requires a bit of asynchronism, thus the need to use a photographic medium. Once again that Osram bulb, reminiscent of Byron the bulb from Gravity's Rainbow. A new type of bulb from Raytheon, a photocell, used to capture images and bring them inside whatever machine the photocell has been made part of. Multiple points of view offered up by the short memory of a photocell, an actual assembly from Ella's anti-death machine. One of the three cells, the one in the upper right, has decided it is time to move on, and so starts to transmit itself. The others will follow, for they are it too. Four copies of this mechanical and intromissive I stare identically, reproducing the dead as multiples for transmission through the breathable air, and beyond. There is a terrible and continuing increase in the number of machine parts needed to accomplish of the relatively simple task of moving ideas as moving pictures through the air. Here, 4 doubled boxes separated by black space have become 12 completely connected, heavily vibrating transmitters. Fortunately, increased demand keeps the price down. At the end of the photocell transmission, we arrive at the quadruple soft-focused eyes of James Hivemaker, Watcher of the Dead. Blink, blink. The collection of an image from the back of a bald comb user. The bald spot is collected in 3 parts and resent as a single signal out the window. If the picture on the wall is any indication, it travels all the way around the world, to arrive right in front of the comb user, where it will reassemble for his use. A virtual image from an electronic mirror, back of the head to the front. Suspended on a rooftop, we see either a transmitter or a receiver for such a back of the head mirror, which has the potential of turning something previously difficult, such as the transmission of the dead, into something available to each and every household, and indeed for every person, creating a need as common and necessary as grooming. A mysterious receiver, perhaps acquired as part of an alien technology exchange. With all those wires radiating from the center, it resembles the void cut in Jacob's head by the bees just moments ago.
Amidst all this activity, the bee scientist Zoltan Abbasid conducted his own experiments on the Mesopotamian bees. He had provided Hivemaker. Amidst all this activity, the bee scientist Zoltan Abbasid conducted his own experiments on the Mesopotamian bees. He had provided Hivemaker. Amidst all this activity, the bee scientist Zoltan Abbasid conducted his own experiments on the Mesopotamian bees. He had provided hive maker. Amidst all this activity, the bee scientist Zoltan Abbasid conducted his own experiments on the Mesopotamian bees. He had provided hive maker.
Midday burial of the hives by Zoltan Abbasid's workers. Though often used when winter is coming, this technique is useful in other circumstances, which aren't named here. Time, foreshortened, brings more sawdust. A worker enters with a side panel for the metabox, which turns many living hives into one sealed box, a mysterious machine. And even more sawdust packing for the Houdini bees. But what is the secret of this research? Dropping the giant top on the hive. One of a long line of similar hives. Or one hive, laid out across time as a single row. Aged Abbasid, the Esperantist. Hear him mutter and sing as he waits for whoever is making this portrait to finish. Many bees navigating among themselves. Left, right, right, left, trying to find their way home, over there. No, over there.
I could see further through the television, out to the Deseret test facility, where weapons were flying through the air. Could see further through the television, out to the Deseret test facility, where weapons were flying through the air. Could see further through the television, out to the Deseret test facility, where weapons were flying through the air. I could see further through the television, out to the Deseret test facility, where weapons were flying through the air.
The black and white living pixel close-up image of Jacob, staring out at us with his two eyes, just as he did the moment before he entered the Garden of Eden. He sees through all the stacked images of this movie. What's there, on the other side? The back of his head, as always. Spatial paradox, but not unexpected. The blue hexagon of the BTV again, either a portal to light through darkness, or the passage of darkness around this hexagonal blue cell made of solid light. Bees can still be seen flying in the blue. High view of the white sands beyond, out there in Deseret, the land of the honeybee. Jacob is now on his way to the Arctic, or at least he is seeing again what it was like the last time he was there. Every day the sun sets, and this is what it sees. The blurred and now burning horizon getting closer. Every living thing that had the misfortune to live near the setting site now on its feet and running as fast as it can towards some place cooler. And since the sun has defective eyes, which allow it to see things clearly when far away, but only in a blur when close up, the approaching flat land of its nightly landscape bed has a bedspread pattern that isn't that clear. Closer still, until there is no clear boundary between the sky and mountains, or the mountains and sand. At a certain distance, here, every grain of sand becomes a mountain and gains its own sky. Your focus snaps in again, and you can see this. But your fall continues towards the new ground, at the base of the new mountain. Then the sand on the shore of this mountain, which was once a grain of sand, reveals that it also has innumerable particles, each of which is a mountain with its own sky, and so it goes until the spring winds down. A red target drone, as used at the White Sands Missile Range. I think they're called Firebees, but they don't do much stinging. They're mainly stung by hornets and drones and bad machines that producers test here. A BTV drops into the frame, looking for a chair. The fool walked into an elevator shaft, hoping to sit down. A drone-killing missile leaving the ground on TV. Is this image literally alive? If so, as a federal employee it is certainly registered with Social Security. A clearer view, straight out of a film camera, of this particular missile leaving the ground for some rendezvous. Orientation marks on the side of the frame. The missile passes the mountains for the sky, where it is the only shaped thing. It looks for other shapes, a brief, future meeting. The BTV drops in again. Same as always, made by the grid multiples seen inside Ella's machine seen during its activation. The BTVs are absorbed by the face of Cain, who has marbles for eyes. Doesn't like to use these lenses to look at the world. He prefers staring at the swirls inside, which he sees as a form of mineral poetry, incitement to action. Ask him any question, and he'll point there, for you to stare, as if you could see the same things there, as if you would really want to look there. The Cainite rocket translates through space, though we have to take it on faith that it has actually made some progress, as there are no fixed markers in the air. It is heading off to the kill. From here to there, in measured steps, across the noisy sky, the beat does its opaque work again, just following orders, sir. A type of drone in the air. A light moment, floating. One of the best times of its life. It appears that Abel, who we see, has his eyes set on that drone. He doesn't appear to be aware of any danger, or is just used to this situation, which seems to play itself out over and over again. Not his fault that his brother turned out bad.
They were killing each other. They were killing each other. They were killing each other. Killing each other.
The static-covered imploding BTV gathers in innocent Abel, bringing him back to us. Boing. A white burst of innocent smoke in the empty sky, maybe the cotton of a ghost, or mist meant to calm the bees in a hive. The divided face of Abel, who, like the moon, has two eyes that look forever. Haven't you ever seen the moon eyes? Haven't? You're a lucky one, my friend, says the fiend. We go into one, which is a world unto itself, or at least a resort. The round of the world resolves his marble eyes into a simpler shape, a single honeycomb cell made of living pixels. Don't go in there. You're bound to get in trouble. In that comb we find yet another world, or a reflection of the world we have been looking at, virtual on the mirrored surface of the TV crystal that has cut into his head, not shoved up his nose, which is what UFO-style aliens are known to do in abduction cases. The green world vibrates there, turning and turning like the motor of a dynamo.
It was up to me to kill someone. That was where I had to go. It was up to me to kill someone. That was where I had to go. It was up to me to kill someone. That was where I had to go. It was up to me to kill someone. That was where I had to go.
The real green world, out of focus, as just seen on the rotating TV. Which channel? Why, Channel Jacob, of course, weekdays at this time, and other times, round the clock. It's a channel connected to a security camera. Jacob, impassively judging the bees in front of him. They are clumped like memory on the comb. They remember yesterday, when all light was purple, and the dinosaurs were just a twinkle in the DNA of germs already too old to have originated on this planet. The bodies of sacred bees floating in free space, in the empty air that is blue far away. Gems on the robes of the Virgin Mary, who isn't aware, actually, that she is carrying them, who swooshed them away if she knew. The real and very close-up face of the living Jacob making a decision, inside the helmet and behind the clip-on sunglasses that he does not wear when people can see. Don't look.
The X-shaped gun sight floated before my eyes. The X-shaped gun sight floated before my eyes. The X-shaped gun sight floated before my eyes. The X-shaped gun sight floated before my eyes.
The cross mark has focused on a tiny tank far away, clearly seen. The surrounding box helps the cross concentrate on what needs to be done. There are few trees in this world, no place to rest or eat. The unreal tank, directly marked by the X. This is vengeance. Banal, predictable, often disguised as justice. Cartoon stars. Ouch.
I was Cain. That was my mark. God would protect me from my victims. I was Cain. That was my mark. God would protect me from my victims. I was Cain. That was my mark. God would protect me from my victims. I was Cain. That was my mark. God would protect me from my victims.
Jacob at the hives as he always has been, looking at something that he doesn't see. All the property in the background will soon become Melissa's. Fast forward through time to the moment after he has actually closed the hive. We don't see him, but he's still there, crouched behind the hive for just a moment, getting the crude concrete rock that keeps the lid definitely on those bees. When he is done, Jacob walks back towards the house. The bees are trapped. Jacob will be free. Strange vacant view of the air above his lost house. Sight unseen, it floats away, across the ocean ground of the desert, until it becomes a speck nearer to the distant shore than to us. Suddenly gone, hidden behind a wave. Goodbye.
Melissa called from work. Melissa called from work. Melissa called from work. Melissa called from work.
All the operators at Ella Spiralem's old job are hard at work connecting all parts of the world to each using patch cords. Ella is a relative of Melissa, either before or after all of this. Over the shoulder of one of the operators, we see evidence of calls, but we don't hear what the many people are saying. The operator listens for noise. The Frisch building appears at the bottom of the aquarium frame. It is the sole remaining building of the city Jacob destroyed when he flew to the moon yesterday.
I told her that I was going out to the Deseret test facility to look at the Army's implementation of the Air Battle Mission Simulator. I told her that I was going out to the Deseret test facility to look at the Army's implementation of the Air Battle Mission Simulator. I told her that I was going out to the Deseret test facility to look at the Army's implementation of the Air Battle Mission Simulator. I told her that I was going out to the Deseret test facility to look at the Army's implementation of the Air Battle Mission Simulator.
Melissa at the base of the giant Frisch rocket. She walks back and forth, sad in the afternoon. The United States, certainly no description of her marriage, is visible vertical behind her on the silver side of the rocket. Melissa is cacti separated from the silver thing still breaking through the top of the frame. Good to get some distance and protection from it.
I had no idea how long I would be gone. I had no idea how long I would be gone. No idea how long I would be gone. idea how long I would be gone.
A flick of a switch on a simulator control panel, probably in the building behind them, maybe by Jacob himself, is enough to end their marriage. Local landscapes float, forming themselves into a welcoming architecture and machine. Flight X, departing, falling, down, down, down. The grid gold reflective building is part of the machine that carried Jacob to his destiny. We zoom into one of its squares. But the glass is meant to keep the outdoors outside, and we bounce off. The impact has an unexpected effect on our cross-eyesight sense. The flat building side folds into a tube that seems to spell 0, though the two sides of the tube never quite meet, so the circle is never quite closed. The tube stretches, bringing a tube surface local 0 quite near to us. The singular void at the end of the tube collapses and dissolves into one of the stars above the binary eagle seen first at the beginning of the film.